Rumors of Federal Crackdowns. April 20, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. About federal anything, including federal crackdowns. The federal government is running on 3 cylinders, not 6. The American part of the federal government hasn't been in operation since 1865, when the still incomplete Reconstruction began. The federal government that remains is being directed by foreign powers, both ultimately under the direction of the Pope. So if we are having any problems in this country, you now know who is ultimately responsible. Under the administration of these federal subcontractors, millions of Americans have been misidentified as federal citizens, subjects of the Queen, Commonwealth, and the Pope. This has happened without the knowledge or consent of the victims. The false registration of their political status was not fully disclosed to their parents, and it took place when the victims were still babes in their cradles, so we have had no way of knowing that this was going on. This results in an unconscionable contract, literally a contract that the victim is unaware of, that changes their political status from that of an American owed all the guarantees and protections of the constitutions, to that of a foreigner on our shores owed no such guarantees or protections at all. Federal citizens, both species of U.S. citizen, have never been protected by the constitutions. They are instead subject to the constitutions. Rebutting this false registration that has been secretively entered in our names requires us to record our declaration of political status as American state nationals or American state citizens. Though it seems anti-intuitive that an American born on the land and soil of this country would have to do this, it is indeed necessary. Otherwise, our subcontractors can and do continue to presume that we are one of them and subject to all the same laws and statutes and codes that they have agreed to perform under. So now we are hearing rumors of federal crackdowns against patriot groups and profiling of people like the QAnons and collecting of data by the FBI and on and on. Listen up. They can crack down on their employees and dependents all they like. They can invoke admiralty law on their disloyal or insubordinate corporate officers at will. They can dictate what uniforms their employees wear, the hours they work, and dictate whether or not they work at all. They can rule your life in all respects and claim that you consented to this as a condition of employment and dependency. Do you realize that unless you claim your own name and property, including your own DNA, they regard everything as public property? Subject to use for any public purpose? Worse than serfdom in the Middle Ages? They can not only crack down on any disloyal activity against the Pope or the Queen or their respective governments, they can set curfews for you and require forced vaccination, so long as you continue to accept their mischaracterization of you as a federal United States citizen. You have to stand up on your own 2 feet and take action to declare and record your political status, and free yourselves from this web of legal presumption. After that, you have to take additional action to assemble your lawful government as independent state assemblies. Notice, state assemblies. Not state-of-state assemblies. Having clearly set yourself and your property assets aside from their rude presumptions, you need not be unduly concerned about federal crackdowns, because you are not a federal citizen and by international law, they can't force you to accept any obligation of federal citizenship. That said, there will still be slumbering clueless Americans who have left themselves open to claims based on these false registrations and unconscionable contracts, even after they have been told about them and even after they have been given instruction how correct this circumstance. If you are worried about federal crackdowns on patriots and forced vaccinations and other evils of the times, then you need to get busy and exempt yourself and your family. Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. We have placed a $1 trillion penalty on them for every American they kill or maim, so they are highly motivated to avoid mistakes. And their federal crackdown may be considerably impeded. Listen up. They can shoot property that belongs to them and collect on the life insurance they placed on each one of you, but they can't shoot anyone standing under the protection of the United States of America who is recorded as an American state national or American state citizen, without being liable for that penalty payment. So all the bully boys who are lined up and frothing at the mouth wanting to kill the people they are supposed to serve are in a bind. Our state assemblies are recording now, and that makes it more difficult for them to be sure who is an American and who is a U.S. citizen ripe for harvesting. They can't make a profit at $1 trillion a head penalty for every American they kill, so this becomes an impediment. It slows them down and makes federal crackdowns on everyone less tenable. May I respectfully submit that if you have the sense of a marmot on the tundra, everyone needs to take action to exit from all presumptions of federal citizenship, either as a territorial U.S. citizen or as a municipal citizen of the United States, as expeditiously as possible. Come home. Re-up as an American. Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net and get started today.